Well, hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome
To
Strangest Species. How's everybody doing tonight? Or this morning, or afternoon, or whatever time it is.
wherever you are.
Yeah. Ethne and I are recording in a most unusual time for us. It is dinner time, and our kids are at the house. Normally we record really late at night when it's quiet.
Silent. Mm-hmm.
So
This should be interesting.
Yes.
But tell them why you have to do this.
Because our lives are so crazy that we have no time to do anything.
Because you're going to a concert
I'm
tonight.
going to a concert tonight.
And we just got back from Vegas yesterday.
Right.
So it's like this is our only chance.
Normally we would have recorded yesterday.
Yeah. Oftentimes.
Yeah.
So
Or late tonight, but I'll be at a concert with my daughter, our daughter. And
so this is
the only time we got.
This is what's happening.
We're going for it.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. So anyways, welcome everybody. I'm your host, Mike Davis, here with the lovely Ethne Davis.
Hello.
Today's format's going to be a little bit different, but we'll get to that in a second. As always, Ethne never has any idea what we're going to talk about, and that's still true.
This is the last one before they get spooky, right?
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
So
October is more spooky ones. Huh?
Yes, all month of October, the topics will be a little spookier. Nothing crazy. But
you know me, I can't handle
Ethne
too
can't
crazy.
handle crazy.
So it'll still be kid-friendly.
It'll still be kid-friendly.
Unless you have a real scaredy pants like me.
Right.
Yeah.
But there won't be anything like crazy graphic or gory or
Right.
anything like that.
For sure.
I am thinking about starting a YouTube channel just on my own without Ethne. And that I think I'll cover more strange, creepy stories all the time. Where this one's more your just weird life stories. But we'll see. Life's busy. I can't find time to sleep, so we'll see when I have time to do another channel.
Precisely.
Yeah.
All right.
But it sounds fun.
It does sound fun.
So, as Ethne mentioned, we just got back from Vegas yesterday. We've been there for almost a week. And if you've ever been to Las Vegas, holy cow, that is way too much time to be in Las Vegas.
It is a long time to be in Vegas. I mean, depending on what you're doing. But in the situation that we were in, I feel like it was just
I was ready to come home.
very. Mm-hmm.
We own a business. We have about, seven employees.
Mm-hmm.
So the two of us and 6 of our employees went down for a conference. And then we went down a couple of days early. We took the kids. My folks came. They kind of watched the kids over at the conference. And
Wanted to share some of the fun parts of Vegas, but you can't avoid
some of the seedy parts of Vegas.
some of the nasty parts of Vegas.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of which, memorable things that you saw in Vegas that are kid appropriate.
I mean, we had a lot of fun doing the Coke tour.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. They love the M&M store, just like 4 stories of all bright colors. You can't pass
Dude,
that up.
It smells weird in there.
Like,
And it's like chocolate.
yeah,
But it's kind of like
sweet.
Yeah.
Well, the Hershey's store, kind of the same thing. Let's see. They got to go to the jousting thing, which they loved. We never got to be a part of that because of our conference. Memorable things. I mean, the Bellagio fountains are beautiful. The Venetian is gorgeous. I mean, just downtown, like New York, the basement, kind of feeling like you're out on the streets of New York. That's always fun. Let's see.
I have a list of some of the
things
that I noticed that were only from Vegas.
Okay. Only Vegas.
I mean, not only Vegas, but looking down here, these mostly Vegas. My favorite thing I saw walking around, I told you about this, you weren't with me. I saw a homeless lady pushing a shopping cart.
Oh, yeah. You told me about this.
And she had zip tied a Ford logo to the front of the shopping cart. So it was like a Ford model stolen shopping cart. And I really like that.
Yeah.
If I had a shopping cart, I think I would do something similar. I probably wouldn't pick a Ford. I'd probably put
Toyota.
a cooler logo on.
Yeah.
Not that I'm anti-Ford.
No, I like my Japanese cars.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I like your Japanese cars as well. Our son Lincoln counted the
Go-Go girls? I don't know what you call them.
Showgirls
Showgirls.
that were out on the strip.
But they're just girls.
They're just
not
girls.
actual showgirls.
No.
They wander around.
I mean, they dress like
with
showgirls,
little...
but they just walk around asking to take pictures with you for like $5.
with nothing on their bottoms and really nothing on their tops except for little covers.
Yeah. So he enjoyed counting them.
I'm sure that's all he enjoyed. 42.
42 is what he said. Yeah. The carpets. The carpet situation in Vegas is intense.
The carpets, some of them literally made me nauseous. The one in the MGM, literally as I'm walking, just bleh.
I would like to meet the guy who makes up the carpet designs for Vegas. They're like, make us the most crazy, insane, ugly thing you've ever done.
And we'll put it in there.
Sounds good.
Because every hotel, and even every parts of different hotels, have the craziest carpet. Yeah, that's very Vegas. Okay, what else?
I enjoyed the carpets. This isn't so much a Vegas thing, but I saw it in Vegas and it made me think of this. There were a lot of adult men wearing football jerseys.
Oh.
So the Steelers came into town to play the Raiders.
Yeah.
And we stayed in a hotel on the very end of the strip that was very close to where the Raiders stadium is. Yeah, we stayed at Excalibur. And I've just got this thing. I don't think adult men should wear jerseys.
I think there's a lot of people listening to you that disagree with that.
That's probably true.
So,
but I just think in general, this comes from a guy
they spend a lot of money
who wears all sorts of crazy crap all the time. But
and you wear a lot of sports paraphernalia, just specifically not jerseys. Like you're all about t-shirts and whatever. Yeah.
For some reason, jerseys just seem very juvenile to me.
Is like Everett's messy?
Well, he's a kid.
But I see. But that is a jersey. I see.
The kids rock the jerseys. Adult men, just looks weird to me.
Okay, and I've never paid attention one way or the other. So,
but there were a lot of really plus-size men rocking jerseys.
But I mean, were they all Steelers or like?
No, there were a lot of Raiders fans
or
too.
Raiders. That's what I mean. Like specific to the game.
Yeah.
So they think that's their way of showing.
I see a lot of other random ones. Speaking of jerseys, I think I've talked to you about this before. I feel like hockey jerseys, like if I was going to go to a Raiders-Steelers football game, it would be very strange to go in a jersey other than Raiders or Steelers. But I feel like if I go to hockey games, it's like, any hockey jersey works.
I mean, not really, but it's definitely more common.
Yeah. It's like...
Because a hockey jersey is like $200.
So it's like a football jersey.
Well, yeah.
So a real one.
Yeah. So it's like... I'm at a hockey game. I'm going to wear the hockey jersey that I spent $200 on.
Again, so Anthony's from Calgary. So it's like you're going to a Flames game. Like, oh yeah, you're wearing your Flames jersey. Totally cool. But every hockey game that I've ever been to, I feel like, that's a guy. It's like you're at like a Flames Oilers game. It'll be like, there's a Winnipeg Jets jersey.
Totally.
Or, there's a Pittsburgh Penguins jersey.
Because they want to represent their team.
It just seems weird to me.
Okay. All right. Is this on topic at all?
No. But it's important
I was
stuff.
like, is this leading into our...
Not at all.
Oh, okay. So fat guys in jerseys.
Yeah. Lastly,
what if you're skinny?
It's still wrong.
It's still wrong. Okay.
Yeah, but just all the guys I saw were fat.
I didn't even notice. Isn't that funny? Yeah. It's one thing I didn't notice at all.
I noticed because I was like, you shouldn't do that.
Right.
We saw a guy propose to his girlfriend on one of the bridges.
Yeah, it was so romantic.
With the Go-Go Girls or the Showgirls.
Well, not only that, you had the Jewish Christian kids that sang for hours on end, singing Jewish Christian songs, which you guys, if anyone can explain to me what Jewish Christianity is, I don't quite know. Please help me.
Very devout.
They were very devout. And then there was also the Mexican guy doing his Mexican music, wanting to try to get tips just for playing music.
Yeah.
And then there's the homeless guy. Literally, this is all on the same bridge.
It's all within like 10 feet of each other.
Yeah, as this guy is proposing. And I'm like,
I wasn't sure if she was going to say yes at first, based on her reaction. But she did, because the Showgirls yelled it really loud when she said yes.
They were very excited.
But at first I was like, I don't know if this is going well. But I think she was just in shock.
Yeah.
That's bold.
Or she was thinking the same thing as me, like, is this really the best place?
Yeah.
But anyway.
I don't think I ever would have asked you to marry me if I didn't have 110% certainty that you were going to say yes.
But I mean, maybe he did have 100. Again, she's probably thinking,
that's true.
There's a lot going on here. I mean, I felt overwhelmed walking across that bridge with all the things, let alone being proposed to,
Yeah. I didn't propose to you on that bridge.
Oh, I was like, you did propose to me.
Yeah.
But you didn't finish your sentence. So yes.
On that bridge.
Thank
in Vegas.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk about Vegas today.
Oh, okay. That's fun.
Yeah, I thought So normally I prepare my thoughts, our scripts throughout the week while I'm working, and I'll kind of work on it. I had no time this week because we were in Vegas the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So while I sat through a couple more boring classes, I kind of worked on stuff. But,
CE classes.
Yeah.
And not even boring, just not applicable. Like you go to them and you think they're going to be really applicable, and then they're not necessarily applicable. So maximizing time, I suppose, is a good way of saying it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But some of them were kind of boring.
Well, because they're not applicable.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a nicer way of saying it.
It is a nice word, I guess.
Right.
Because I just don't care.
Right.
But so I thought, what better topic than to do some Vegas-y stuff since we were in Vegas.
Yeah, I can only imagine because
It's very hard to keep it moderately clean.
Right. You can be all sorts of weird in Vegas, and it kind of just blends,
So the last night that we were there, so we went to this conference hosted by a big supplier of our industry. I mean, very big. We had a private concert by Sting. We had a private performance by the Blue Man Group.
We had
Matt Franco.
Matt Franco, the magician.
Frank Caliendo both performed for us.
Mm-hmm. They were great.
And the last night, they rented out this club
A very
at the MGM, which is
prestigious
a very,
club. Yep.
And Ethnie and I are not partiers, but we went
were
with all
that
of our
night.
stuff. Yes,
Yeah,
we went.
we were that night.
But we wore it was a futuristic party. So you're supposed to. It was a nightclub that had a dress code. So like you had to be in
Fancy.
Yeah, fancy essentially.
And the ceiling moves. I mean,
Really
it was
cool.
really cool, but
So I wore a bright gold shirt, button-up shirt, with a pink sequins blazer, like sports coat,
don't forget your glasses,
with light-up glasses and bright gold, like loafers.
shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spray painted.
Yeah, spray
Yeah.
painted. But they were sharp looking.
Oh, they were. They looked great
And Ethne had just a nice black dress,
with sparkles all over it.
lots of sparkles,
Gr-
lit up. Your hair was all lit
Yeah,
up.
my hair was lit up with like those fiber optic
Yeah.
kind of
Cool glasses like mine.
cool glasses like yours. I had
And
gold
then a
shoes
bright
myself,
gold,
and a
like,
bright gold kind of like
bomber jacket.
jackety kind of thing.
So walking over to...
We got a
had
lot of attention.
A lot of attention. Even in
Where are
Vegas.
you going? Where are
Yeah.
you going? And we're like, oh, we're fancy.
Yeah.
It was
Felt
fun.
like I was hosting like an award show.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, that part was fun, and the ceiling moving was fun. It was really fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
So, Vegas. So I said today, normally we have one story, and I tell you the story, if you don't remember how this works, which you probably do.
Are you talking to me or the audience? Oh, I know how this works.
And so normally, we have one story, and Ethne kind of comes along on the ride with all of you guys. Today, we're going to talk a little about some weird stuff in Vegas, and then I have a story that's much shorter kind of at the end.
Oh, okay.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, it's a little different.
By the way, from our last episode, I believe, we talked about beavers and my son and the
Raccoons, you mean?
yeah, the beaver pelt.
Yeah.
No, so my friend who has the raccoon pelt came or texted me, and she's like, you can totally have the raccoon pelt. So just so you know, she listened to the podcast and texted me right away. I was like,
But we still don't have, we've never caught the stupid
no,
raccoons
the
still.
raccoon's still at large, you guys. It's
I think
terrible.
it's moved on,
I hope so. But what if it's just waiting?
but the trap's still set for it.
Kind of. It needs better bait. Anyway,
Marshmallows and peanut butter.
we need to add the peanut butter again.
Yep. So lots of crazy things happen in Vegas. Now, obviously, everyone knows crazy things happen in Vegas. Crazy things, I mean, like newsworthy things happen in Vegas a lot, but they never come out. You never hear about them.
They probably want to keep it.
They do.
Yeah.
So there's really this whole system that is designed to suppress stories coming out of from the casinos. Because they don't want bad press. And journalists don't ever report on it because in a city like Las Vegas, as soon as you cut that line and the casino thinks they can't trust you, you're never getting another scoop or another anything again. So if you can hear a dog barking, I'm sorry, someone must be at the door. So I think the number I read where there's about 40 million people visit Las Vegas every year. On average, about 1,000 visitors die in Vegas every year.
It's not
Which isn't
surprising.
a lot out of 40 million, but it's a lot for I mean, it's still 1,000 people, right? So most of them are natural causes. But you can go ahead and Google this. Try to find a news article about a natural cause death in a hotel in Vegas. I mean, don't do it right now, Bethany. But if you're listening, stop. Go Google it. You won't find a story. They don't exist.
Weird.
And you know why they don't exist?
Because they don't want them to?
But you know how they prevent them from happening?
No. How would I know this?
So this is crazy. So if authorities, like the police, are called to a room in Vegas, that room must be mandatorily quarantined for 2 weeks. And so that's a lot of money not a lot of money compared to how much money they're making, but that's revenue loss for the casino. So if the casino finds someone dead in their hotel, they actually will have staff members move the body.
So that the police are not called?
So they'll do one of two things. They'll either move the body out of a room to an area that can't be quarantined.
Okay.
So let's say John Doe dies in room 47. So either they'll move the body out of room 47 into the courtyard and be like, oh, we found a body in the courtyard. And then when they come and get him, they're like, there's no room to quarantine because the body's not in the room. Or they'll just call an ambulance. They'll move them out, put them in the ambulance to send them to the hospital to try to save them, even though they're dead. And then the death certificate will be signed at the hospital, not at the hotel. So
all the hotels are on this same protocol.
The paramedics are on the same protocol. The coroners are on the same protocol.
So they know.
Everybody knows. There's no death at the casinos on the Strip.
That's so wild. That's so wild.
I know. Okay. How would you like to be on the crew?
Like
you're like housekeeping, and then there's like
move the dead body crew.
There's like like super housekeeping, which is the dead body crew.
Does each hotel have their own dead body crew? Or is it like a one body crew per Vegas?
That's a good question.
This is all the questions I must know.
And what's I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
I think each one has their own.
I mean, yeah.
And again, what's the better place? Like, you don't want to put it out in public.
No, I would say no.
So
I would always say call an ambulance and have them go to the hospital.
We have this little courtyard that no one's allowed to be. People always die here. It's weird. They just come here and they die.
It's the strangest thing. Yeah. That's wild.
Come and have heart attacks right here.
So someone from MGM or who owns all the other ones?
Caesars.
Oh, Caesars. They're going to call you up and be like, stop revealing our secrets. You're going to get in trouble.
Maybe. I doubt it.
I'm just saying.
I only know these secrets because I read about them in copious places online.
I know. Okay. Well, then maybe they won't.
And as cool and large as their podcast is,
they won't ever know about it.
It's probably pretty small for the Caesars Palaces and MGMs of the world.
But that would be kind of cool.
That would be.
Oh, the other thing I remember about Vegas was the whole cyber attack. Is that what they're calling it? Where nothing was working or random things were and random things weren't. That was weird.
Yeah. So there's a huge.
Are they calling it a cyber attack?
That's what it was. Yeah. There's a huge cyber attack about 2 weeks ago, and it's still messing up a lot of things.
A lot of things. Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
It was kind of a pain in the butt.
It really actually was, checking in and checking out.
Not cool. So generally, if you died of natural causes, the hotels also have a general policy where they will comp you the room, which is very considerate.
It's so nice of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you die and you've been in there for 4 days already and they didn't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, but if you commit suicide in your room, your family's going to get billed for the cleanup.
Well.
Like if you mess up the TV or the sheets.
Yeah.
So if you die naturally, all good. If you decide not to die naturally,
it's going to cost
your family's going to get a bill.
Your family already has to suffer enough if you decide to do that. So don't do that. How about
that would be a bad thing.
Yeah.
So that's some death. There's going to be a general theme of death.
Oh,
to
perfect.
this. So maybe
We're
it's
leading
already
into
yeah.
October. Yeah.
Well, I figured death was better than
Lots of other ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
the other ways you could go with Vegas. So second little thing here, there's a thing called the Flamingo Wash.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
We saw flamingos
You
too.
did see the flamingos
At the flamingo. Yeah.
And I assume either this name got it from the flamingo or the hotel got its name from this.
Okay.
One or the other. So Vegas is, if you've never been there or seen it in any movie, it's in a desert. It's very dry. It's very deserty. But when it does rain, it comes very quick, and it's got big flash floods. Like they can come out of nowhere real fast. And so one of the ways that they tried to get around this in Vegas is they built this Flamingo Wash. It's a giant man-made river that's dry most of the time, but when it rains, all the water flows through underground tunnels into this wash and then out. That way the strip doesn't flood.
Oh.
That makes sense, right?
Is it in the shape of a flamingo? Or why are we calling it the Flamingo Wash?
I feel like I read why. I don't know. I think it's just location-wise.
Oh, maybe it's located close to the Flamingo Hotel or something?
It is very close to the Flamingo Hotel.
Oh, that's probably why then.
But again, I don't know which name came first. Like what was named after what.
My guess is the hotel first, but who knows?
And so to get around the strip flooding, like I said, they've built these tunnels, they divert to this wash, and then it travels down to Lake Mead, which is the big reservoir behind the Hoover Dam, which isn't far from Vegas. And so, like I said, to get around the problem of the strip flooding, this wash goes under the I-15 by Caesar's Palace, and then it comes out in the strangest of all places on Earth. So it's underground, under the strip. Think of this whole river, torrent of water. It pops out of the ground, literally in the parking lot of the Link Hotel.
Oh. Okay.
That's great engineering.
Is it?
Yeah. No. It's terrible engineering.
They must have picked that because they had to. Because otherwise, if I was an engineer, I think there's got to be a better option, but I'm not an engineer.
Yeah. So remember when we were in the Flamingo, looking at the flamingos, and then we went out the side onto that little...
I saw the LINX links.
Yeah, the links is right there next door. Yep. So their parking garage, literally the whole first floor, every time they get flash floods, is completely washed out.
So they can't park there.
Nope. If your car is parked on the first floor and there is a massive rainfall, your car is a goner.
Well, they should not let you park there.
Right. If your car is parked above the first floor, your car is stuck for a long time until the water recedes.
Well, that's so dumb.
Yeah. So it flows, actually doesn't, not till it recedes. It flows through the parking garage, and then there's a giant, massive grate on the far side of it where it goes in and continues on above the ground, but in that wash.
Right.
So it must have been, so where the Lynx is now used to be the Imperial Palace. You have eaten at the Imperial Palace.
Back when we went like over 13 years ago?
Yeah, when we went like 15 years ago, we went to the buffet at the Imperial Palace.
Oh, I remember that, actually.
That?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
So for years, Vegas authorities told them, like, you really got to do something about this. But the Imperial Palace just couldn't ever find a way to make it work. And it was such prime real estate. I mean, that's why they built it there to begin with, right? It's like, oh, yeah, that sucks, but we're on the strip, like, let's get on there. And so they just have learned to deal with it. So when they know that there's going to be rain coming, they clear out the garage. There's signs that say, don't park here. And it's kind of funny. You can go on Google and look up YouTube videos all over the place of just roaring torrents, just going through the garage.
That's so weird.
Yeah. But it's just what it's designed to do. Like, they built the garage to handle it because they needed the space.
Well, there you have it.
So here's the tricky thing about it, though. Underneath Las Vegas are miles of tunnels.
Okay.
And they have become a huge, what's the right word?
Catacomb.
They are like a catacomb, but they're like an underground city for the homeless.
How do they get in there?
There's lots of entrances from outside the city and around the city that you can get to
gross.
these tunnels. I've watched YouTube videos on it too. Not even for this, like a couple years ago.
I can't even imagine going down there.
Yeah.
That'd be
But it's really like a whole city and community, and people have homes set up and
Homes in
homes,
quotation.
but pretty extensive. I mean,
Wow. Okay.
but they know every time you get one of these big rains, and normally they don't fill the tunnels completely, but they know when you get one of these big rains, you're losing all your stuff. So they have to know it's coming
or
to
your
get
life.
out. Right. Well, sometimes they get rain that's bad enough that the tunnels completely fill. And yes, many of them will drown. But guess where they end up?
In that parking garage?
In that parking lot.
Oh, man.
This is kind of a common thing, like when you get torrential rains, you're going to have a bunch of people wash up because they come out of the wash, but then they can't go into the grate on the far end.
Oh.
And so they just end up on the first floor parking garage of the Link Hotel.
Oh, my goodness. This is disgusting. And right before we came, there was torrential rain.
There was.
Oh, my goodness. This is wild.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Glad you didn't tell me this when I was there.
Yeah. We never went in the garage.
No,
but
we didn't
walked
go in
by
the
it.
garage, but we walked by it and we were in the Lynx Hotel. But I'm like thinking if I knew this, it would just be even grosser. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's already just gross.
Dude, that place is gross.
It is gross.
Vegas is so weird because it's
It's beautiful.
the
and
most, over the top, beautiful place ever. And then 5 feet away is the most disgusting, seedy, gross place ever. And that
Yeah.
happens over and over and over and over and over
The
as
whole
you walk.
time.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness, this is so gorgeous. And I can't believe I just saw that. And oh my goodness, it's so gorgeous. And what's that smell? And
Yeah.
it's just
it's
a
very,
nonstop cycle of.
Yeah, exactly that.
And it's really funny where we were. One side of the strip is just like Louis Vuitton and
All the really,
all
really
the real
hoity-toity
ritzy.
shopping.
The other side of the strip's like Ross Dress for Less and Walgreens. And you walk on that side and you're like, I'm going to get sold into human trafficking. And you cross the street and you're like, oh, I'm not fancy enough to be walking over here.
Right.
It's just so weird.
It is weird. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. So that's the Link Garage. Lastly, as far as weird Vegas things, each night there's another special maintenance team that works at the casinos. So you have normal house cleanup or like not room service. What am I trying to say? Housekeeping.
Maintenance.
Have to clean the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to go down some of the roads, but I read some crazy stories of the housekeepers and the things they find and what they have to clean up after all the time.
Ugh. I don't want to know.
So that's level 1. Then you have your level 2s, which are the ones that have to take care of the dead bodies. These aren't real. I'm making these up, these levels. Then there's another crew that has to go around every single night, every chair of the casino, and they have to press them with sponges because there's a lot of people who
No, they will pee
they
and
pee right
they just
there in the
pee
slot.
and keep on slotting.
Either they're too drunk, or they're too lazy, or they're just
No.
don't care enough. And so the casinos have to go around and they use a sponge and
To test if it-
and if it's soaking, then they've got a whole cleaning kit that they use on the.
Oh my goodness. I am so disgusted. I'm so glad you did not tell me this when I was there because, ew, we sat in one of those chairs.
Yeah,
We ate our gelato on one of those chairs.
it's true. A big love seat slot machine.
Yeah. One size fits all.
That's right. I guess it does have to be a 2-person. For us, it was a 2-person.
Oh gosh. That thought is, hopefully they make them almost so like
The ones in our casino were
Yeah.
a lot more almost like leathery.
the water wouldn't
Right.
sink,
It's kind of pleathery.
or the pee or whatever wouldn't sink in per se, would just almost like sit in your pants. Oh, people are so interesting.
Yeah.
Strange. Let's use the word
Yeah.
strange.
The amount of strangeness with the human fluid level in Vegas is astronomical.
Oh, please we don't need to go there.
No, and we will not. We'll move on. So that's just some of the cool things, or interesting, or strange, that I read about in Vegas. Now, for our little story.
Lucky you that you did all the reading about this. I wouldn't even want to know.
A couple of the articles I read had like disclaimers. If you're squeamish, don't keep going.
Sick. Did you keep going?
Of course.
Oh, Nope, I would have been done right there.
And I regretted some of them.
Yeah. You're permanently traumatized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like that
interesting
serial killer story you told me. I'm permanently traumatized.
I don't even know what I told you.
Like his story of how he became.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Like who or...
I don't remember his name, but I can tell you. He lived in like Peru. Or...
Oh, yeah. So I read this book once that was all about...
What was his name?
Right? I have no idea. It was about like the world's most prolific serial killers
infamous...
outside of the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
And we got Manson. I guess Manson was a serial killer, more of a mass murderer. Anyways, but like Bundy and Berkowitz and John Wayne Gacy. We got all of our classics, but these dudes got nothing compared to...
Like people out of our country.
Yeah. There's a couple serial killers out of Central America or South America.
I will never be the same after that story.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, serial killers in the U.S. are like JV.
Chump change.
Yeah. And there was one out of Russia too that was crazy prolific.
I don't want to hear about them because I'm forever traumatized. So you can stop right now.
I'll stop.
Okay.
So our story, we're going to move on to...
Too much of a baby.
The Hoover Dam.
Oh, didn't Grandpa work on the Hoover Dam?
My grandpa did work on the Hoover Dam.
That's cool.
Yeah. So the Hoover Dam is a dam.
What?
Yes.
No.
I know. Not a misnomer. On the Colorado River. That sits on the border of Arizona and Nevada. And it's only about 35 miles southeast of Vegas. So pretty close. It was built between 1931 and 1935.
Grandpa was a part of the construction of it, was he not?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it was built, it was the largest concrete structure in the world, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. That's very cool.
Yeah. It is 726 feet tall. I don't know what that is in meters, but it's about 3/4 of the height of the Eiffel Tower.
I mean, it's huge.
At the base of it, this is the crazy part, it's almost as wide as it is tall at the base of it.
Wow.
So at the very top, it's only 45 feet wide.
Right. But
at the bottom, it's over 600.
Wow. It's
a lot of concrete.
This spendy.
It's probably cost a lot of money too, yeah. I had a cool thing about how... Okay, yeah, so the concrete. If you were to build a monument that was 100 square feet, so 100 feet by 100 feet by 100 feet.
Got that.
By 100 more feet.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for clarifying.
Yep. Guess how high that monument would go using the same amount of concrete that's in the dam.
I don't
understand.
No.
Question?
So you take that same amount of concrete?
Yep.
100 by 100 by 100 by 100.
And you just go straight vertical.
Straight
instead
vertical.
Of building a big, wide, expansive dam.
Got it. 2 miles.
2.5 miles.
2.5 miles. That's still amazing.
That's a lot of concrete.
So how narrow would this monument be? Are you talking?
100 feet by 100 feet.
Oh, you're saying that's how big the monument would be? Oh.
2.5 miles tall.
Whoa. I wasn't realizing it was going to be that big still.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said 100 by 100.
The way you...
I meant 100 by 100.
Okay.
She used her fingers to show me, like, how wide is it? Like, it's not 2 inches by 2 inches.
No, that's not what I thought you meant. It's a misunderstanding. Anyway, keep going.
Or, if you paved a highway 16 feet wide, it would go from San Francisco to New York.
Okay.
So, a lot of concrete. And it was during the Great Depression, so they built Boulder City, which is now it's still there. It's kind of close to the Hoover Dam on the way to Vegas. But it was one of these government project cities where everything's neatly aligned and in a row, and they brought in all the workers and set up this fake little city for them to live in. This intrigues me for two reasons. One, my grandpa worked there on the dam. Two, I grew up in one of these government cities, just in a different part of the country, and 60 years after they built it.
Because of Grandpa again.
Because of my grandpa again. He worked at the Hanford nuclear site in eastern Washington, which is where there's 9 nuclear reactors.
It's where they constructed.
Where they built pretty much all the plutonium for pretty much all the atomic bombs that they built.
For the World War.
But they used it in the one that was dropped on Nagasaki.
Nagasaki.
All, manufactured there.
Hiroshima?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the one over in Tennessee or North Carolina.
I have no idea. I mean, even being a Canadian, I had no clue about any of this until.
But so, anyways, where I grew up, like my dad grew up in a house, B house. I don't know. It's
a
funny.
Military house because there's only 4 different styles or 5.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's funny because in my childhood growing up, it was, oh, you live in this style house, or you live in this style house.
And then everyone had the exact same style of house unless you had done a remodel or something. Right. Yeah, like identical. It's like A, B, C, D, E, F, repeat. A, B, C, D, E, F, repeat.
And so it was, so that's how Boulder City was.
So your grandpa was in a what house?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay.
It's a cute house.
That was my favorite.
Yeah.
You know, super cute. Anyway.
Well, actually, when we first got married, the first house we ever lived in was one of those houses as well. The duplex.
Oh, was it? Grandpa's wasn't a duplex?
No, his wasn't a duplex.
Oh, ours
the one
was.
we were in.
Oh, that's a letter house too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't even think I noticed that.
It was an old government house.
Oh, that was a weird house. We should
haunted.
talk about that. Yeah.
We're going to talk about it.
Right now?
No, next month.
Oh, okay.
A little intriguing for you. I don't know what Ethie and I believe in, but our house was definitely haunted.
Oh, for sure. It was.
I don't even know if I believe in ghosts.
It was all sorts of weird.
I want to. We have a piano from 1896 that I tell everybody I brought in just because I wanted it to be haunted. But there's definitely no spirits attached to it.
No.
Or they're really lazy.
They're sleepy.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have this monument that's really, really tall, 2.5 miles. All right.
So anyways, back to the Hoover Dam.
Boulder City.
Boulder City. People came in from all over during the Depression to work there. So Boulder City actually was a big, profound influence on Las Vegas. So Las Vegas, a lot of people don't know this, wasn't founded until 1905. It's not a very old city. I mean, it was always around, like the establishment, but it was real small. But it's barely over 100 years old. And the dam did a lot to help build that. So, how do you build a dam when there's already a massive river there?
I have no idea. I'm not an engineer, remember?
Oh, man. I was hoping
Ask Lincoln.
Yeah.
He wants to be an engineer.
So they built 4 55-foot wide tunnels, 17-meter tunnels.
To let the divert the water through the tunnels?
Into the Black Canyon, into the canyon walls. So 2 on each side.
Yeah.
They would let the water divert around. And then as they would pull the rocks out, they would build a cofferdam on either side of the building spot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's quite the process.
Yeah. So they built this giant cofferdam with these tunnels, dries up the riverbed, and that's where they built the dam, which is really, really cool. I kind of geek out over this stuff. I just thought it was really neat. So the official project started in 1931, but there were lots of projects, small parts of it before they started to kind of help lay the groundwork, right? It was a big project, years in the making. So one of those early projects was a group of surveyors that were sent out to scout the area. In that group was a young, ambitious man by the name of John Tierney. And he went out with his wife and their son Patrick, who was just little, maybe 6 or so at the time. They moved out to Arizona, and he started surveying for the dam. On December 20th, the date's important, December 20th, 1921, while out surveying, his group was caught in a giant flash flood of the Colorado River. And I don't know if he fell out of a boat or if he was on the shore. It's kind of murky. Long story short, he got washed away, and they never found his body.
Okay.
Yeah. December 20th, 1921. And he is oftentimes considered the first person who died working on the Hoover Dam.
Okay.
And his wife hated that they never found his body.
I know.
Every time a skeleton was found on the shore. Yeah.
Just to have that closure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But they never did find him. And after a little bit of time, she took their son Patrick and they moved back to Missouri to just kind of start over. They were from out there to begin with. So officially, during the next 5-6 years as they're building the dam, 96 people died building the dam. There's a lot of myths that when someone would die, they would just leave their body in the concrete. But that's not true. They didn't do that.
I mean, how do we ever know?
Because it would have messed up the concrete.
Oh. Okay.
But it's just kind of a sad realization that a lot of these projects bring.
Yeah.
There's a lot of... But someone said, so they were setting up races in Vegas this weekend for the Formula One race is going to go. And our daughter said someone died on the crew setting up the scaffolding. So, I mean...
That's sad.
These things come with... Yeah. So, so just to get a little bit of the working conditions, I called my dad. I asked him a little bit about my grandpa there. So he was 19 when he worked there, but you're supposed to be 21.
He lied.
He lied.
Just like my grandpa did.
They
about
didn't care
his age.
because they needed workers.
Right.
He got 3 days off the entire year.
Woof.
Yeah.
Christmas?
Christmas, New Year's, and Labor Day.
Oh. Well.
Other than that, you were working.
Wow.
He worked graveyard shift, so he had to sleep all day. They would sleep on the porch. And his sister and him and his brother worked there. They'd sleep on the porch, and his sister-in-law would put wet blankets, like tie them over between beds on the porch about 18 inches, and they would get under there. And then she would keep them wet all day. And then they had an electric fan. So it was like their own homemade AC. And so they would sleep and then get up and go.
So he was married at this time?
No, this is his sister-in-law. So his brother Clyde
wife.
And his wife,
Gotcha.
yeah. And and he cleaned out concrete forms. So the way they built the dam, it's not a giant pour. It's like Legos. They have all these different, like 50-foot by 50-foot sections that they would build up. So anyways, the project goes on for 4 years. On December 20th, remember that date? Mm-hmm. That's the day the first guy dies. 1935. So 14 years later.
14 years later.
A young apprentice electrician falls from one of the cooling towers and dies.
What?
And is the last person to die working on the Hoover Dam. What are the odds the first and the last guy that die
are on the same day?
Exact same day.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
You want to know something even more crazy?
Oh, I don't. They find the guy's body?
The guy who fell, the young kid?
Oh.
His name is Patrick Tierney.
Was it the son?
The son.
Did he commit suicide?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That's too crazy.
Isn't that insane?
I don't believe it.
Believe it?
I mean, I believe he died. I don't believe it was an accident. I don't.
Well.
That's too coincidental.
That's a massive coincidence, huh?
Yeah, like two. That's what I'm saying.
The first and the last. On the same day. Father and son.
That's what I'm saying. It's too coincidental. I don't believe it.
But I believe it, folks.
I believe that he died. I was like, and he landed right next to the corpse of his father.
That would be cool. As he did some somersaults and flips on the way down. No. His mother was, he also was married, the young kid. He was their only son. I believe he was their only child.
Did the mother outlive him? She was still alive.
Mm-hmm. And she was very anti him going out and working on the dam. But he needed the money and, different times back then.
Yeah. And his daddy had done it. So it's, maybe an homage.
Well, he actually, one of the things I read, thought that he would get favor getting on the crew because his dad had died on the project.
Maybe so. But that's too coincidental.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Had my grandpa died on the crew, I wouldn't be alive.
That's true.
So
you wouldn't have.
I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah. So anyways, I wanted to go to the dam when we were down there. There's no time.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Next time, we'll just avoid the strip altogether and only do things like that. The Grand Canyon and the dam.
Right. I'm ready to be done with the strip for a while. I've been to Vegas twice this year. And other than the In-N-Out burgers.
Oh, In-N-Out. But we can get In-N-Out in other places.
That's true.
So
other than that, though, I'm stripped out.
Except for when basketball comes back.
That's true. The first time I went was to watch basketball.
Yeah. So.
And I will definitely go back to watch more basketball.
Right. So.
But this basketball's technically not on the strip. It's at the Orleans. It's a little off strip.
Right. So you can avoid the strip and still enjoy the basketball.
Correct.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah. Well, everybody, that one's a little different. Like I said, it was a little harder this week to prep just because we were so busy and out of town. But we will be back next week with the beginning of our October Spook Fest.
Spook Fest? I was going to just say Oktoberfest. 'Cause doesn't that include really yummy food?
Yeah, I think most Oktoberfests are primarily beer-based.
Oh, well, I like all the German food, and they spell it with a K, and I want to eat that food.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we will be back next week with, I'm not sure which. I already have all 4 stories picked out. I just don't know which order.
Which one?
I know which one's going to be last.
Oh.
Which is where we will talk about our own haunted house and other experiences with the paranormal.
Okay. Okay. You are strange.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Also, sorry, quick announcement. I should have said this at the beginning. Dang it. We are on Instagram now. So if you go to Instagram, Strangest Species, I will post things about the stories we do there. You can also contact us there. You can also send us emails at strangestspecies@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on Facebook, or I think that's all. So everybody have a wonderful week. Stay strange, be safe, and we will talk to you 1 week from now.
See you later.
Peace.